Hello everybody, welcome back. Bit of a late start for me. I took the kids to gymnastics this morning, so I couldn't be asked to get up that early. It's the weekend, do you know what I mean? It's the weekend. Come on, let's relax a little. Not that Bitcoin or crypto's relaxing, it looks like it wants to nudge down a little bit further. We've got some hidden and regular bullish divergence on money flow and RSI down here on the 4-hourly. Which is something. It's not normally enough on its own. We'll be looking for it to retest probably this area down here, which is around about 107,600, give or take. It's a horizontal area. It might see some bounce, and it could even see a reversal, but it might see some bounce from there. The bounce at its best should be targeted to the area that was lost, which is around $112,000. So that's what the 4-hourly is suggesting. Nothing more, nothing less than that. So a bit further down in order to then bounce back up. The weekly is also, I'll show you sooner, the weekly is still at that major support. And wicks can go up and down through a weekly. So it depends on where we close. As far as the daily is concerned, the horizontal remains. A little bit further down, 106,005, 104,004. These are very decent areas to be picked up from as well. Golden Cross retests, 200 simples and exponentials. We've not really had a retest of the simple or the exponential since the Golden Cross. Well, it went straight through the Golden Cross on the exponentials here, but the since the Golden Cross on exponential on simple, which was here, we never got retested. So that might prove to be a major area, or just a red herring. Who the hell knows at this point? Who knows? Moving over to the weekly then, so we've had a little wick down, a little deeper, tiny bit deeper on the 21 exponential, but we still remain above it. Now we hit it here, and here we are again. Each time we hit it, the 21 exponential is slightly higher than it was previously, although the wick on this occasion was lower. It's just worth pointing out that this is a weekly support that it currently is holding. It doesn't mean that it will hold, it currently is holding. No bull div on this, so we're just looking for flat out, straight up supports here, and then the 6 and the 104 that we've seen on the daily. That is basically it. Not a great deal much more to say about it than that. Move over to the S&P. The weekly's closed red, although it did make a new all-time high, but it has closed red. Moving back over to the daily, we can see that we were here supported on the 21 exponential. It's the sort of thing we're hoping to see take place on Bitcoin's weekly. And it's not about particularly just like hoping that it does it. I mean, these supports, these moving averages, they correspond to a certain amount of statistical likelihood of bounce, really, and the likelihood is 65%. So you go with it. Do you know what I mean? If you feel confident enough to try. The 4-hourly closed above all moving averages here on the S&P on yesterday. So with that comes a little bit more confidence that we might actually crawl back out of this and go to a new local all-time high. Again, no guarantees on that. Right, moving over to the Dixie. So the Dixie crept above all moving averages at this point, creeping closer to a golden cross now. So that could end up being reversal time for the Dixie. Could be. We've already had our double bottom more or less on the Dixie here, on the trend line that would be. But we do have bearish divergence, and the daily chart is still particularly bearish. Obviously the weekly is also bearish. But we also have to respect the fact that we did a bang and a bang. Now, just because we did that, because we did a bang and a bang over here, and this was your sort of alt season territory, where we found the all-time low. This is where we had the May crash, but we also then had a significant portion of a bull market that led all the way to here, while the Dixie was running up. So, just because the Dixie might be reversing here, and again, might be, there's signs of it, there are signs of reversal, on the 4-hourly definitely, daily not as much, weekly potentially. But, with these two down here, there is signs of it. That doesn't mean that just because the Dixie's going up, everybody else is going to come down. Once this has established a bullish trend on a high-term time frame, I think at that point we could probably just say, yeah, all right then. All right, maybe at this stage now, where the Dixie definitely pointing to further upside, that's when we will probably consider that, Dixie dollar is best. But for now, not so much. The Dixie is still quite low, and there is a chance, that we break down below this trend line. It's just a chance. 200 exponential here supported as well. which is just below the trend line. 200 simple down here as well, 90, well, basically 92. So if we did break down, we still could get supports all the way down to these levels, but there's not any evidence right now that we will break down below that support. And that's not a big deal either. You know, the Dixie is still low. There's opportunity in these markets still, I believe that. Right, quick look at Ethereum, which came down to the horizontal 2 days in a row. Here we go, third day, sort of meandering, fannying around basically. Moving over to the 4 hourly, rejection on the center of a Bollinger Band, bearish, well, hidden bearish. Divergence, that's not a good sign, to be honest with you. You're looking to revisit the 3,800 on this one, I think. Nothing much more about it than that. XRP had a significant run all the way up into the death cross, a little bit above it, but death cross retest not all the same. And 200 exponential and simple down here at the breakout zone over the next few days with a single driver bullish divergence. Move yourself back over to the weekly, you can see that we're getting supported still on the 20 and the 21. So odds are in favour still on high term timeframes that we can reverse from here and reverse relatively fast. Shorter time frames, not so much. Daily time frames 50-50 I think across the board. So you know, it's definitely worth having some money available to buy deeper. I'm at this point now, obviously, yeah, as you probably all know, just futures market really for me at this stage. It's all part of the overall plan. I'm still holding on to a great deal of crypto. Obviously all my Bitcoins remain unsold, all my Ethereums remain unsold, all my XRP remain unsold. And I do have some capital left to buy deeper down, but just in the event that we do collapse here, because there is, and there was, and there still is the chance that September was the peak, and it wasn't a very special peak, it was basically just a double top. You know, there is still that chance that this is where the peak is. You know, the fractal that we had overlaid did suggest something, I suppose, well, it looks something similar to this. So there is also that chance that the bear market is basically beginning. So just got to be aware of these things. It's not as easy as expecting up only. My fractal, which was based mostly around time rather than, you know, ups and downs specifically, although it was quite decent when it came to the ups and downs. They were quite close, you know, some very close, some within a month or so, which is not bad when you're stretching out a 4-year time frame fractal. It's more of a guide of time. Time has, well, this is it. We should, you know, as far as the time is concerned, I would have expected a peak by now, and in a way we did have a peak, didn't we? I mean, we didn't have an all-time high, we certainly had a local high, a new local high. We do have lots of bearish divergence across this as well, so we do have to recognise that. So there is a chance the bear market is beginning, and we don't quite yet know it because we've not broken down below significant areas on these charts to confirm a bear market, but that is that. It is what it is. Just beware that there might be a bear market incoming. So futures market for me, primarily for the remainder of whatever this cycle might bring. Right, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.